e6. Gonna go for the open Sicilian here. Hey, the Fuchsia. Welcome back. Thanks for checking out the stream. Alright, so in the past we were playing classical training games. Hey, Counter Sparks, good to see you. So our previous games were played in the time control of 60 plus 30. But in these games we decided to play rapid chess, get some more games in. But we will be discussing the exact same opening as before. So yeah, the starting position in every game will basically be this one, bishop e3, a6, queen f3. In the past, he played the same line with knight e5, so this doesn't come as too big of a surprise. We'll see what he comes up with. Okay, b5, f4. This is still following our last game. So I checked this a little bit. I didn't prepare too much for today because I've looked at these lines a lot in the past. But I did briefly check, especially how our last game went, just to make sure that I'm going to be able to remember for today. Yeah, it's very useful training to do this kind of stuff. Okay, e5, b4. I should be going knight a4 here. I believe he'll be going knight d5. Yep. Now it's time to play h3. This actually all took place in our last game as well. So yeah, the moves are coming quickly, but they clearly are familiar to both players. Okay, this time he plays bishop b7. This is, I think this is the right move. Okay, bishop d3. Bishop e7, and now white should go king b1. He's playing fast. Clearly he has been looking at this today probably, so he's well prepared here, that's for sure. Okay, h4. I guess this is just going to be a theoretical discussion. I'm pretty sure the move is queen e1. Yeah, it's going to be super messy. I'm not sure what I'll be able to explain here other than which moves I remember and which moves I don't. Because it's just preparing this line heavily with the engine. But, okay, basic idea is white's trying to attack on the king side. Black is trying to generate some counterplay on the queen side. And that's about it. Hey, Z Nation Chess, good to see you. We are just getting started here. Why didn't we just start from the desired position? Yeah, I don't really know how on Lee Chess, so we just started from the beginning position and then played the first few moves ourselves. Okay, this move is new for me, so this is gonna be, I think I'm gonna have to start thinking here quite seriously because I genuinely have no idea what's going on. Okay, he's hitting g2. My first thought would be to play bishop e4. Queen takes e4. He would have to go back knight d5. Yeah, wow, I feel so non-warmed up to actually like think and play a chess game right now. Okay, other than bishop e4, I don't really see any other good moves here. I do have moves like knight b6, but I don't think they really accomplish much. Okay, so bishop e4 takes, queen takes, knight d5, and we'll take it from there. Black can also take on g2. Do I need to be worried about that? Knight takes g2. Take on g2. Bishop takes g2. Rook h2. Bishop goes back. Yeah, not so clear. Okay, bishop e4, knight takes g2. Maybe I have queen e2. Knight goes back to f4. I play queen f3. And knight goes to d5. Do I get enough there for the pawn? I might, actually. I might have some compensation. So, not a lot of time to waste. This is a rapid game, so gotta make a decision and just go for it. So I am sacrificing a pawn, but I feel like I kind of had to, so I guess we'll find out after. Maybe so I'll be able to check the line, and we'll see if this was actually the right reaction to this or not. Okay, so he seems pretty confident about grabbing this pawn. Yeah, it's not really clear to me if white is going to get a lot of compensation here or not, but I guess we'll see. And if not, then we'll figure out what I did wrong in the opening, because I think I was following the line, but I guess we'll find out. So now I'm expecting either knight d5 or bishop e4 and then knight d5. And in both cases, I'm thinking about ideas of just playing like bishop h2 and then trying to break with f6. Launching or lining up against black's queen. Okay, so knight d5. So now immediate f6 doesn't seem to be so great. I'm down a pawn, but I'm not super worried just because I feel like black is the one who has to solve a lot of problems with the king, especially like how are you going to castle kingside now that you took my my g-pawn? But castling queenside also looks extremely dangerous. I also have ideas like knight b6. That might be interesting. Queen takes, knight takes e6. Queen moves somewhere, knight takes g7 and then f6, but I mean it kind of works. Knight b6 looks really interesting. Knight takes b6, I take on b7, rook b8. This one I'm not so happy about. So I kind of feel like bishop h2 is a nice move to play here, just kind of connecting rooks. Then maybe queen a5, I'll go b3. Knight c3, I take it. And I'll even be able to take on b7. Okay, so let's go bishop h2. Now I want to threaten f6, so black has some problems to solve. Queen a5, I'm just going to go b3. And I think because of this pin, he's not really going to be able to go knight c3. Like take, I take on b7. If he ever goes queen a3, the c3 pawn will be hanging. So my king will be safe. So queen a5, b3 though is my main expectation, because I don't feel like black can really allow f6 here. But we'll see. We'll see. Castling also f6, just really dangerous. Castling queenside, I'll go f6. Probably, maybe not. Actually, he can take and go bishop d6. Maybe bishop h2 f6 is not such a huge threat, but even then, like I have moves like rook g1 here, so again, I'm not too worried about anything just yet. My feeling about this position is that it's just harder to play for black, because, well, yeah, the king just has no safe square, whereas white's king is reasonably safe in most of these lines. Okay. Looks like he's thinking here. Really need to try and stay focused because time is already running out. So castle's queenside maybe. Can I go rook c1 and c3? Probably goes queen a5. So castle's queenside, f6, takes, bishop d6. Don't see such a great move for me there. And I don't want to just trade pieces. Okay, queen a5. This forces b3. Rook c8. Okay, so he's committing to play with the king in the center. Okay. So let's see now. Is knight c3 a threat? Take, rook takes. Queen will have to move, or maybe bishop, or maybe rook d3, something like that. Rook d3 seems fine. If I go f6, do I have anything yet? Doesn't really feel like it, so... Yeah, my instinct is just to play a move like rook g1. Just attack the pawn. And ask black how he wants to defend that one. Knight c3 takes... Oh, he wants to take with a pawn. Okay. Bishop takes b7, queen a3. I see. Oh, he wants to go queen a3. Okay. That's fine. In that case, I need to be making sure that I'm covered against knight c3 check. Well, I could just go bishop f4 after he goes knight c3 takes, bishop f4, then queen a3. I can always meet it with bishop c1. So that's gonna have to do. No time to waste. So if knight c3 takes, pawn takes, bishop f4, queen a3, bishop c1. It looks really scary, but this does happen in a lot of the lines that I was analyzing in this variation, where black gets this queen a5, knight c3, but white is always kind of having enough resources to guard against that. Would I say I'm an efficient calculator? Meaning I'm able to go through lines one at a time without having to start over. In classical chess, usually, though not always. In rapid chess, it's a lot harder because you really have to choose your calculation time wisely and know, like, be effective at figuring out when is a good time to calculate and when it's better just to see one or two lines and go for it. I don't know if I really have figured out the right mix for rapid chess. Or for blitz. I mean, for blitz you don't really have that much time to think, only in the most critical moments. But for classical chess, I think I'm pretty good at managing my time. But I think I'm helped because I have a well-developed intuition and sense of evaluation. So when one line is going one way or another, I tend to be able to grasp it rather quickly and then know whether I should be spending more time on it or whether I should be looking at something else. Like in the previous situation when it seemed like black was going to be taking this g2 pawn, I didn't really worry too much about figuring out the best way to defend the pawn. I just realized, okay, I can probably just sacrifice this one and play the position, and so here we are. Now I'm down a pawn, but I feel like it's not a big deal. White has a lot of play in the position. As long as I can keep black's counterplay under control, I feel like it's a nice position for white. But of course, we'll see. Chess is a concrete game, so I'm more than willing to be proven wrong. White's position could be dangerous as well. Hopefully after the game we can take a quick break before playing the next one, because we'll be playing 4 games today. So I don't want to just jump into the next game without reviewing the opening a little bit and seeing like if I could improve somewhere. But yeah, we'll get to that. E takes f5 is possible. I think I probably take with the knight. And then if knight takes f5, I would think about taking on d5. Takes and then rook takes. Yeah, so I'm not sure. So he's thinking, I mean, and this is kind of what I'm talking about. Like, it's not obvious what black is supposed to do in this position. Even if the engine says that black is objectively okay here, it's like, what is black's move? It's not so easy. Apart from knight c3 check, it's hard to come up with a move that doesn't really weaken black's position, or, you know, let alone improve it. But knight c3, I mean, maybe he has to just play this one and then go for the bc3. I won't be able to take on b7 yet because queen a3 is gonna checkmate me, so I would have to play bishop f4, and then it's not clear how to continue for black there because bishop a3, bishop b2 doesn't really threaten anything in that position. White is always going to be able to defend with bishop c1. Yeah, I think it is important for black to hold on to this. Actually, in the previous game that we played, that was a longer time control, he took on f5 much earlier, and that was just that was a big mistake. Okay, too weak, too slow 2 asks, hi, why do you think it's possibly equal? Well, honestly, I don't know. I feel like white has a nice position here, but I am down a pawn, and that should count for something. So who knows? I was just saying, for example, because I was analyzing these positions earlier, and sometimes the engine sees a position like this and, you know, it just says like equal, or maybe white only is slightly better, but then you look at the position with your own eyes and then it just feels like, well, white clearly has ideas here, but it doesn't feel like black has that many ideas. So from a practical point of view, it does feel like white has an easier position to play. So I definitely agree with you there. Rook c3 was definitely a possibility. Of course, I would just have to ignore this one and move the queen somewhere. I'm not sure where I would move it to. Maybe that was a strong move. But he does play knight c3 check. I take. Now I would expect pawn takes. Seems more natural just to create this constant mating idea against my king, but rook takes has some point too. I would probably just go rook d3 there. Actually, against the immediate rook c3, maybe I would have just played rook d3 as well. Okay, and here my initial thought was bishop f4. I still feel like this is probably the only good move for white. I mean, a4 is also possible, but then after queen b4, I'm still going to have to figure out how to deal with this queen, so I don't know if a4 is really helping me here. So bishop f4 seems to still deal with this threat effectively, and now I'm threatening to take on b7, so he has to deal with this pressure. Maybe bishop takes e4 might happen next. I think I'll pre-move that. then yeah, it's still very hard for black to castle here. I might have f6 coming at some point, or maybe rook takes g7. So, okay, up 3 minutes on the clock. Things are good. Things are good. No reason to resign yet. That would be quite shocking if I just resigned. I'm sure he would be very confused by why I would be doing that. Okay, we'll see what happens. I don't feel like he has any other options here other than bishop takes e4. So I'm not sure what he's thinking about, especially in a rapid game. It's like, if it feels like you have a forced move, sometimes it's better just to do it. Of course, he realizes I'm going to play queen takes e4, and then he's just going to have to come up with a move after that. So he's probably just thinking about what he wants to do in response. But sometimes it's easier just to take first and then get that position and then start thinking from there. Maybe he wants to take on f5 or something, I don't know. But it doesn't feel like black has any tactical solutions here. Like queen a3, bishop c1. There's no way to get his rook in. Bishop a3 doesn't really come with such a huge threat, so I'll just take here. If he goes here, I'll probably just take his rook. And then if he goes queen a3, I'll make another move, and then once he does all that, then... Oh, that's weird. I guess I canceled the pre-move. That's fine, though. That's fine. Not really worth it. Okay, getting a big lead on the clock now. 10 versus 5 is pretty serious. But we are playing with 10-second increments, so even if someone does get down on time, it's bad, but it's not the end of the world. Not like in the Pro Chess League where you're only playing like 15 plus 2, and so once you get down on time, then you're basically stuck there and good luck. Here, it's always possible to... Like, if he had a big advantage and was playing on the increment, he would still be able to convert it. So I still have to be very precise here. But position is looking fine. I mean, okay, down a pawn, but g7 is still hanging after all this time. He can't really castle because of bishop h6. So it's hard to make moves for black with his rooks disconnected. I mean, this rook on h8 especially is just not participating, and so... It's certainly felt in this position that black has a difficult situation. I'm not even sure what he does here. I mean, bishop a3, I can probably think about either taking on e6 or taking on g7 outright. I guess I also have ideas of f6, maybe, at some point, like takes, bishop h6, rook takes h6, rook g8. Okay, queen b4. Queen b4. Alright, time to think. What's the idea here? Maybe he wants to go a5, a4. Okay. So I could go rook takes g7. a5. Take on h6, go rook g8 check, bishop f8. It's not clear how I'm breaking through there. So take on g7, f6. Oh, maybe he wants to take on f5 because I'm pinned. My bad. Knight takes f5 might be coming. So I need to make sure I deal with this threat. So I could take on e6 first. I could also think about f6. f6 takes, bishop takes. I take on h6. g8, I take his rook. Yeah, that would actually work. So if I go f6, takes, he can't take back a second time, but he can go bishop c5. Take on h6, rook h6. Check. You'd have to go back bishop f8. Then I have ideas like knight f5 there. Queen takes e4, knight d6. And I'm not sure that's leading to mate. Oh, it's not leading to mate, but it is winning, so I'll be able to win the knight back. Okay, so here's the line I want. I'm thinking about f6, takes. He can't take. He has to go bishop c5. I think maybe he'll go bishop f8, but then I'll think about what to do after that. Take on h6, rook takes, rook g8 check, bishop f8, knight f5, queen is hanging. But if queen takes e4, I have knight d6 check, king d8, rook takes f8, rook takes c8 check, and then at the end knight will take on e4, and I think I'm up like rook and piece or something. So f6 takes, he has to go bishop f8. Then things are a lot less clear. Yeah, so I don't really know. I don't really know if I want to go in for all that. Though his king is going to be stuck in the center, which is nice. Yeah, I feel like I shouldn't really overthink this. I mean, I also have like easy moves like queen d3 might be just good. Hitting a6 and also threatening knight takes e6. Yeah, I feel like I should just keep it simple, especially because this is rapid chess and queen d3 poses some really serious problems, so... It's such a obvious, or such a common thing we just witnessed, where you spent all your time calculating one line, then you end up going for something else. Okay, he's figured it out. He goes king f8. So he was expecting that one. Now rook g7 just looks super tempting. Oh my god. But I don't think it's that good. Can also just take on a6. Oh boy. Okay, things are gonna get sharp. f6. Yeah, f6 is now playable, so I'm gonna go for that. f6 takes, bishop takes, knight takes e6 check. And then if he recaptures, I have bishop d6. Okay. So he has to go bishop c5 here, I'm pretty sure. But then I wasn't really... Yeah, I didn't really think too much about my move there. I feel like I can play queen takes a6. Now with this f6 pawn, I think his king is just in tremendous amount of danger. Oh, maybe I even have like knight takes e6 stuff, for example. D takes e6, queen d8 check. But f takes e6 is less clear. Maybe just queen takes d7? Could black be getting checkmated? It's very possible black is just getting mated here, but I just feel like I don't have enough time to calculate everything out. Just have to kind of intuitively judge. But 96 fe6, queen takes d7. I mean, it hits the rook, it hits queen g7, which looks really dangerous. Has to be good. I mean, he doesn't have any checks. He can play queen takes f4, take on d7, or take on c8, rook d7. I think it's winning. Does he have something else here? I don't really think so. I guess he could... No, I can't really throw in queen a3, bishop c1. So... yeah, I think it's just over. I think it's over. Okay. What did I want here? Alright, knight takes e6. I couldn't decide whether I should also take on h6 with check. I feel like it doesn't really matter. Well, let's take here first. Okay, fe6 as expected. Now let's think. Now let's think. Queen d7 or take on h6 first. I don't really feel like we need to take on h6 first. I think queen d7 is good enough. So we're threatening this rook, and we're also threatening queen g7 and taking this rook. Probably it's winning either way. You can take on h6 first or not. To me, this one looks more convincing. Not that I really have to rush here, but maybe I should just spend some time just to be professional. What can he do? He can't really go for mate. I always have bishop c1, so I'm not worried about this. If he takes on f4, takes on g1, I'm just taking more stuff with check, so it's not working out for black. Okay, let's not waste time. Let's just get it over with. Okay, queen takes f4. Now I just wanted to take this one, and then I have a choice between taking the rook, taking the bishop, or going rook d7 check. I guess rook d7 is probably the cleanest. King takes, I take with check, king f5. I mean, taking on c5 here is also completely winning. Maybe knight f5, he can struggle on for a little bit. Queen d7 check, is there any logic to this? King takes, queen g7. Yeah, this is actually probably even better. Queen d7 check, king f8, I have queen g7. So he has to take, I go queen g7, king f5. And then queen g6 check, king e5. Rook e1. Bishop e3. I really should be mate there. I don't see it. I mean, I can always just win the rook when I want. So, okay. Oh, maybe I should just take the rook right away, actually. I keep forgetting about this. Bishop takes g1, I just have queen g7, queen e7. So maybe this is just the easiest. No more checks. Just materialism. Strict materialism. Bishop g1, queen g7. Hey, Silent Archer TV, welcome to the stream. And white is just getting there first. Okay, so now I think that's it. I think that's it. Yeah, Tipsy Town. I mean, it's so easy to mess up in a position that's clearly winning that, yeah, eventually you just learn, like, the time you waste spending, you know, like 30 seconds just to make sure that something is working, you know, you're never worried about losing that time. Because it's always worth it to double check. Okay, I mean, obviously I could go for the end game here and this should just be winning, but I think there should be something easier as well. Yeah, let's just go Queen H7 check. Force the king to the back rank. Okay, he resigned. Alright, let me quickly check the line here. I'm going to send him a message. I wanted to take like a few minutes break in between games just to review the opening and both of us can check our notes. So let's, just send me a message. He just sent me a challenge. let me send him a message here. Yeah, Rook F1 was winning there, but Knight F5. I mean, game continues, but White is just in general winning there in a number of ways, so it's not super important. Yeah, in regards to suggesting moves, guys, I go back and forth on this, but what I'm doing for these rapid games is, you know, while I'm thinking, I'm not really watching the chat, so it's not a big deal. Because, okay, people are going to come and go and suggest moves throughout, so it's not something we can police super that well. But yeah, in general, it's probably better not to suggest moves while it's my move, because I don't want the help, basically. This is my training. But yeah, it's not a big deal. Okay, let's review what happened. So in this game, looks like we followed my notes. And this Knight F4 move was... We're gonna find out here. Knight F4 was interesting. And Bishop B4 I think was the correct reaction. So good job me there. Takes Queen E2. And White does get some compensation in that position, like we found out in the game. Like I was down a pawn, but clearly had some ideas. Aha, and there's some move Bishop F2 I should keep in mind. Interesting. Okay, sounds good. I think I'm ready to replay the line. So looks like he sent me a challenge. Yeah, I know you guys can't see the analysis. I was just checking my own notes. But okay, we're going to start the next game now. And yeah, no worries about suggesting moves earlier or whatever. The fuchsia, trust me, f5 is a really strong move there. So whatever engine you're using, it's just not at a strong enough depth. But alright, looks like we're just going to get the exact same line. And we'll see. Obviously, he should probably deviate somewhere because he had a really difficult position from the opening. And we'll see what he comes up with. Okay. That is 6. Yeah, he's sticking to his guns. Okay, bishop e7. Yeah, this is new. Alright. Last time he played knight e5. Okay, bishop e7. This one I'm going to have to think about for a little bit. Okay, queen g3 should be the right response here. Oh, and he goes for the endgame. Interesting. Red, I think my best time control is classical. Wow, I wonder if I just fell for something here. Because this does not look fun. Oh boy. Maybe queen g3 is just a mistake there. Yikes. Okay, I'll have to check this one out. Because this is already... Oh boy, this is already bad. Yeah, I didn't even consider this one. So we're going to have to salvage a horrible position right from the opening. Yikes. Yeah, life comes at you fast, huh? Okay. Wow. Alright, so rook e1. Knight takes e3, knight takes e6, knight f1, knight takes e7. Tends to just resign here and just be like, okay, you got me. So queen g3 is not a good move in that position. Yeah, noted now. Yikes. Knight c6 takes on e3. Knight takes e7, takes on d1. Knight takes c8, takes on f2. Knight b6. Knight takes e6, you can also just recapture bc, and then bishop d4 he has e5. And then bishop b6 he has rook b8, knight a4. I just don't want to play any position with this pawn structure. Yeah, maybe I had to do something else there, like king b1 or something. Oh well. Okay, I guess let's take here. If knight e3, I take on e7, knight d1, knight c8, knight takes c3. Knight b6. So confusing here. Take on c6, take on e7. After knight c3, I'll go knight b6. Okay, I think it's worth a shot. Yeah, king d2, actually, that was an interesting move. Maybe objectively. No, but takes on e3, king takes bishop c5. I'll have to defend the knight, and then he'll have e5. And I'm probably just losing a piece there. Yeah, I think this queen g3 is just a blunder. Well, this is why this is why training games are so useful. You get to blunder, and then, okay, now I'll try not to do this in a tournament game. And yeah, I don't know, maybe I miscalculated something here. I'm just gonna go for this line, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, I mean, he can just go for like knight takes f2 here, knight b6. Take the rook. I take his rook. And then just take on g3. Then he has rook and 2 pawns for 2 minor pieces. I kind of just wanted to go over this position. At least it would be somewhat challenging for black compared to a position where he just has like better minor pieces and a better structure. But oof, yeah, he caught me. He caught me in this line. Damn. What can you do? If he takes on c3, then the idea was to go knight b6, hitting the rook anyway, and then I'm threatening to win back his knight. Okay, only move. Now he's probably just winning with like a direct h5, g5, h4, g4, h4, h3. Just creating a passed pawn, because my pieces are so bad, then it's gonna take them forever to get back into the game. Like knight c7 check, the knight is just trapped there, so I have to come back via b6. Well, let's start with maybe bringing in the king. I want to go king e3 here, h4, maybe king f2. But just g4, h3 anyway. He doesn't even care. Doesn't even care. Maybe knight e2 then. Takes, king takes. And my king can deal with this pawn. Okay, this is an option. I mean, at this point, the game to me is just like almost irrelevant whether I lose or draw. Like, it doesn't even matter. I lost the opening battle so hard that it's just, from my point of view, like the game is already just over. Like, but okay, we'll finish it out. We'll do our best anyway, because I mean, it is good training for him to try and convert the position, because it's not exactly trivial to win this against an opponent who's defending. So he still has to, I think, show some good technique here. But from my point of view, yeah, I'm just like no point for me. But what can he do? You know, this is well, actually, I mean, it's kind of you know, good news, bad news situation. The bad news is this rapid game is going to be suffering, but the good news is I probably won't blunder this in a tournament game, which is a win. And yeah, the knight on a8, I mean, yeah, right now I just don't have time to get it back. Maybe one day, if I get a free move, I'll play knight b6. But I'm not too worried. I don't think black can really trap it. Like if he plays b5, I can go a4 and then knight b6 and the knight will get out. Or I can even secure it with a5. So... Okay, knight f1 check. Interesting. Hey, Relative Impact. Thanks for following. I guess I should go king e1. I don't really see what my options are. And he wants to go here. I guess he wants to put the knight on g4. And then e5. That seems like a good idea. Let's see. I don't think I should go g3 here. He just goes h4. King f2, knight g4, king g3. Okay, I think yeah, my king just needs to defend against this potential passer, so what can I do? Now let's maybe just go king g1. So I don't get hit with h4 check later. I think he wants to put the knight on e5. Yeah, I mean, queen g3, I mean, this is kind of the typical idea for white. So all else being equal, like these endgames are normally considered to be slightly better for white. So that's why I kind of just intuitively felt like I should do that. I was mainly expecting him to like play d6 there or something. It's just a very concrete thing that he had this knight g4. This usually doesn't exist in other lines that this happens in. So that was kind of on me to miss that concrete detail. Okay, now it seems like it's time to bring this guy back into play, so let's go ahead and do that. Gravely Pawn asks, do you see value in old books in the modern era? Absolutely. In fact, the post that I'm linked to that I linked to there with Moobot, which is open for everyone to see, has a number of older books there. So I think I do believe in their value, especially studying the games of the great players, Alekhine, Capablanca, Rubinstein, Nimzovich, Tarash, Max Euwe, Steinitz, Shigorin, Philidor, Greco, Morphy, Anderson, Max Lange, you know, some of these guys, Bogolubov, Lasker, the other Lasker, Tardikauer. Did I mention enough names, or do you guys kind of get the point? There was a lot of great players in the past. Okay, what to do? That's the problem for white here, is that I'm more or less just passively defending. I don't have a lot I can do. Not many targets in the position. I guess I would rather keep my bishop than my knight, so I think I'm gonna have to exchange this guy off. Okay, Bronstein, he comes like way later. Yeah, FM Geller, I mean, come on guys. I was talking about like pre 19, you know, 30s and 40s. Yeah, obviously there's gonna be like a million players after Euwe. How about a replacement for Silman's endgame course? As far as basic endgames go, I mean, I think his book and the Shereshevsky book that I probably included, Endgame Strategy, these are some of the best books on learning the basic endgames. One that I would strongly recommend, I think I included in the list as well, is Mastering Endgame Strategy by Johan Helstein, who's a GM. He's a really good author. I strongly recommend his endgame book, his middle game book, and his opening strategy book as well. Okay, knight c4. He decides to leave me with a bishop. I'm not really sure about the decision. I think in general the rook does better against two knights than bishop and knight. But I think he has a big advantage in either case, so it's not hugely important. Okay. Well, there's not much here. Yeah, the 100 endgames you must know book, that one is also good, but that one is more based on like theoretical endgames and not so much how to play endgames. So I consider that kind of a different category. But yeah, that one is definitely a good book. So there's lots of good books, guys, you know. There's no shortage of books. Everyone always asks like, "Oh, if I just had the right book, you know, things would be so good." But like, maybe you just need to spend some time reading anything, you know. Don't use that as an excuse for not doing anything, right? Analysis paralysis. Right? There's so many good books. Just choose one. Like if you're listening to this right now and like just the first book that comes to your mind, just do that one. That's it. That's your choice. Whatever it is. Agard, Dvoretsky, John Nunn, Helstein. All of these authors are worth pursuing. Yeah, it's hard to figure out a plan. I think I want to play c4 here. I honestly have very little idea how to play this position other than to just sit and wait. But my idea with c4 is to prevent him from playing d5, e takes d5, king takes d5, where he would get 4 pawns versus 3. Or 4 pawns versus 1, excuse me. So I'm just trying to exchange off more pawns. Okay, he goes h4. So now he wants to go g4, h3 probably, but... maybe he wants to go g4, g3. Okay, let's put the king on h2. If he goes g4, g3, I'll go king h3, and then it's going to be hard for him to hold on to this pawn. He could just go f5 here. And then take with the pawn, of course. And then he has a lot of pawns on the king side. Yep. That's what he does. Okay, I don't have anything to do. I'm just gonna push pawns and hope for the best. It's just, I mean, he's played this well. Like his king is just dominating my pieces, and now he's just pushing. I'm gonna push. Maybe I can one day dream of getting a passed pawn that won't go anywhere. Yeah, this endgame went so bad so quickly. Oh boy. Bishop e7, huh? Okay. Well, at least we got some questions in, so that was fun. Yep. f4 is good. Yeah, maybe g3 would have been better, and then he would only get one pass pawn rather than like two pass pawns potentially. Not really sure. It's probably just all losing. So, whatever. Yeah, the Aggregate books are really good. So he had his first series that's called Excelling at Chess, and then there's that book by the same name. There's also Excelling at Chess Calculation, Combinational Play, Positional Chess, Technical Chess. I think all of those books are really good. I recommend them for players like typically between maybe 1800 and 2200. And then his newer series, like the GM Preparation series, that has like calculation, positional play, strategic play, attack and defense, endgame play, and the last one, thinking inside the box. I feel like this was more geared towards really higher rated players, like at least 2100, if not higher, because those books can be pretty challenging. Okay, he goes a5. He's just limiting my counterplay. That's probably wise. Yeah, I don't really have a lot to do. I guess I could go c5. Okay, I'll go c5. King d5, maybe bishop f5 I could play. But yeah, I'm just waiting for the end here. Won't be long. I mean, maybe it's not trivial for black to win this one, but there should be a way to break through. I mean, I feel like h3 is already good enough. Maybe I have to play g3 there. He goes f3 or takes on g3. I mean, I might get some blockade on the king side, but if he has two connected passers there, then it's going to occupy a lot of my pieces, and as soon as my knight comes to g3, he can just play like king d4. This also looks very strong, just grabbing one more pawn while my pieces have nothing to do on the king side. Yeah, I feel like this is starting to look resignable. So I feel like I should just get on with it, get to the next game. Just be like, okay, you got me in the opening. Is there any way to... Okay, we're gonna resign. It's over. Let's check this line. Make sure, because we're just gonna play the same opening again. So I need to make sure I don't. I know what I'm doing here. So against bishop e7, yeah, king b1 is the move. Okay, let's review the line quickly. So castles g4. I'm just checking my notes in ChessBase, guys, so I don't expect anyone to see what I'm doing, but I'm going to start the next game soon. Yeah, I haven't looked at this line much, so I'm just going to have to quickly review my notes here and see if I can get a feel for these types of positions. Okay. Wow, a lot of lines. Okay, yeah, there's no way I'm gonna absorb all this in like 30 seconds, so I'm just gonna, just gonna have to get on with the game. So that's fine. Let's get to the next one. At least I'll do slightly better this time, I hope. All right, round 3, 1-1. Yeah, at least I know not to fall for that one trap, but other than that, my knowledge is not too great there. But okay. Again, this is this is why I'm playing the line in training and not in a tournament yet, is to get this practical experience and fall for some well-known traps, get those out of my system, and improve my knowledge overall. Okay, knight f6 castles. All right, are we gonna see bishop e7 again, or are we gonna see a new line? Okay, bishop e7. So now, not queen g3, guys. This move is thematic, but here it just doesn't look good. Let's play king b1. This is what my notes say. Good prophylactic move. Okay, castles, and now g4. Good attacking move. In terms of how to actually play the position, I only have vague intuitions, but well, we'll figure it out. Knight e5 is not supposed to be a good move here after queen g3. He can't really take with the e knight, and if he takes with the f knight, then he's just going to have a very difficult time on the g file there. I might just play like rook g1, or bishop f4 also looks interesting. So knight e5, queen g3 is probably not what black wants to do here. I think d6 is normal, then white probably goes g5 at some point, maybe take on c6, h4, etc. I'll have to check my notes more deeply after the game, because this is all I remember after after just looking at it for like 30 seconds. Okay, but sharp position. Now we have more of a straightforward opposite sides castling position, not like the last two games that I think went along more unorthodox patterns. I think it's reasonable for white. To me it looks like d6 is kind of the most natural move, but surely he's thinking about other stuff too. Can also take on d4 and then go d6. Alright, d6 on the board. So I can play g5 right away, or I can take on c6. I'm not sure which of these moves I should really... I think g5 is still fine. There is a line, I think, where black can go knight e5. I'll go queen g3. And then if knight h5, I can go queen h3. Okay, so knight d7. That seems more logical. Now maybe it's time to take on c6 or go h4. Okay. I'm going to take kind of more of an intuitive decision. This exchange is often played because then I don't have to worry about knight coming to e5. Then I can play bishop d4 at some point. Not totally sure if it's good in this position. Obviously, it can give, if he takes bc, it gives black an open b file. But it's not that easy for black to use this file. I mean, in many cases, white can even just play like b3, and then black doesn't get that much play that quickly. Meanwhile, white is trying to go like h4, h5, and g6 somewhere maybe, or bishop d4, rook g1, just try to create some attack against the king. I don't know. I'll have to check the notes again after this and see whether I play the position right. Dr. Charles Forbin, I mostly use ChessBase, yeah, to keep my analysis. I have some stuff on Lichess, like their studies are very useful. If I didn't have ChessBase, I would use Lichess, because they have a lot of the same functionality in their studies, and I think most players should be taking advantage of that. I mean, it's like totally free, and you can keep track of your notes, keep track of the games that you're looking at, analysis you're doing, you know, your opening repertoire. I mean, you can, I think that's what the number one thing that most players don't do that they should be doing is saving games that they analyze, that they found interesting, or like puzzles that, you know, they had a hard time solving, and then like reviewing them from time to time. Similarly to, you know, what Chessable does by like feeding you the same material over and over again, especially moves that you got wrong, so that you can review it and learn from it. I think that's the biggest thing. Okay, bc6, I think this is quite reasonable. I think I'm just going to go h4. Sounds like a great stream for someone to take on. What do you mean by that? I don't get it. Okay, rook b8. Now I think I want to go queen g3. And yeah, chess is the best game. We are basically just racing to get our counterplay in, so it's going to be a very sharp fight. Queen g3 makes sense, just getting out of the way of knight e5. Also pinning the d-pawn, so black can't play d5 so easily. Probably goes queen b7, and then I can go b3. And I should be doing all right there. Queen b7, b3. Oh, to stream, to show how to use like notes and then create a repertoire file and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, it's always I think this would be useful. I've done some stuff like that on my Patreon page, but I don't think I've done like an official, like, here's how to create a repertoire, analyze games, input games, find novelties, like that kind of thing. But I'll keep that in mind. Maybe that would be a good project. I think John Hartman was working on something like that on his YouTube channel. I don't know if he got to the openings part, but he was doing he was doing some stuff about ChessBase. I think he did at least one video on openings and things like that. That YouTube channel, by the way, is called I think it's called First Look Chess, and it's yeah, he had some great videos about how to like use ChessBase. Maybe there's an unfilled niche for streamers who work through chess books with viewers and subs. Yeah, actually, I was doing this a couple times before my latest tournament. I was going through the Rudolf Spielman book, The Art of Sacrifice. People seem to really enjoy that. It's just hard to get any kind of consistency going when you're traveling. But maybe when I get back from my tournaments, like in July, I'll start to do something more regular. Because then I get to, like, you know, work through a book that I want to read anyway, and then people get to follow along, and I think they would enjoy that. Okay, Queen B7, as expected. Now I could play Bishop C1, actually. This is also possible, but somehow feels a little bit unnecessary. I think B3 is better. So yeah, I'm just gonna go for this move. I don't really have too much to overthink here, because I have A4 covered, so like A5, A4 is not such a great idea for black. I have C4 covered, so C5, C4 is also not really working. Hey, Sangon Forever says, I got inspired of your go with the woodpecker method. I tried it myself, doing 576 of the puzzles in 3 sessions, and I have jumped 200 rating FIDE. Nice. What was your rating before and what was it after? And then maybe we can discuss how much the woodpecker method helped you, because I'm sure it did help, like just doing all those puzzles, but it sounds like you've been ambitious enough to work on your chess a lot, so I would imagine that wasn't the only thing you were doing, and so it's probably not the only reason you jumped so much in rating. But I am curious, maybe it really helped, I don't know. I certainly feel like it helped me doing all those puzzles. I do feel like my calculation improved, my tactical vision improved, and specifically my pattern recognition definitely got a lot better as well. Okay, so C5. So now it's time to figure out how I want to break on the king side. I can play F4, I can play H5. I don't really understand what his plan is. Maybe he wants to go knight b6 or knight e5. C4 he's not really threatening. Maybe he just wanted to control the d4 square. I feel like I could also execute a plan like bishop c1, bishop b2. Kind of slow, but really improving my bishop a lot. And then the bishop is like a good attacking piece, but it's also an excellent defender. But I feel like this isn't really necessary right now. I think h5 is a more useful move to get in, just so I always have the opportunity to play g6. So I feel like I could save this move for later, especially since black is not really threatening anything yet, it seems. Okay, let's push. Yeah, I just feel like I'm gonna have to, there's gonna be a critical moment later on where I'll need time to calculate, so this part of the game I don't want to take too much time here to make one of several normal moves. I bet h4 was normal. I bet f4 was probably fine. Bishop c1 was probably okay. So there's not really a big point in spending time if all of your moves are reasonable. Whereas later, you know, I might only have one or two good moves in the position, and then I need the time to figure out what those moves are. So I feel like in rapid chess it makes sense to kind of play a little bit more intuitively out of the gate and then save time for later. Unless it's like a really critical opening, because then you might miss your chance for like a big advantage right from the get-go. Like in the first game I was spending more time in the opening because things were really concrete and I didn't want to miss any opportunities. Okay, so Sangon Forever says around 1850 to 2050. That's a big jump, I have to say. But they say, yes, of course, they've also done a lot of other work on chess. So yeah, I mean, I think the fact that you've been working so much is probably most responsible for your jump. But you know what? If you say you're inspired by my work with the woodpecker method, then that is, you know, I will definitely take that credit. Okay, he goes f5. This is a sharp move. I can't really take because the queen takes h1 probably. If I take en passant, I guess he wants to take with the bishop, and that would be really dangerous, so I'm not sure I can do this either. Yeah, f5 is a very interesting move here. I don't know if it's going to work out for black, but it's certainly interesting. Good news is he's not really threatening f4, so maybe I could play bishop c4 here. King h8, g6, h6, bishop takes. Bishop c4. What is he doing on bishop c4? Oh, knight e5 he probably wants. Yeah, just defending everything. Okay, I could also play bishop h3 here. It's kind of an interesting move, but then again, knight e5 I think is coming. So maybe I should just play f4. Yeah, I'm thinking about bishop g2 as well, but I'm not really sure I like it that much. So I don't know. Bishop d3 also seems very normal here, but then again, knight e5. Yeah, knight e5 is just a really annoying move in every position. It really makes me want to play f4 here, because this knight e5 is just killing me. f4, if he takes on e4 though... How exactly am I justifying? Because that's going to be... It's going to be a pretty serious pawn sacrifice. Okay, if I take, bishop takes f6. Doesn't seem good. Bishop g2 there, he goes d5, bishop c4. Ooh, f4 takes bishop c4. You can't really defend the pawn so easily. But you can play knight b6, yeah. It's d5, I can just take it, but this one, not really. So bishop h3, knight b6 also is annoying. Yeah, tough one. I don't know what to do here because knight e5 is coming. Look at this bathtub structure he's executing here. It's interesting. Okay. Let's see. Bishop g2 is possible. Knight e5, f4, knight g4. No, knight e5 I can tail. I mean, bishop g2 has the benefit of coming with the actual threat. So maybe I have to play this one. What is he doing there? Queen b4? I can go back. c4 I'm not worried about. Okay, let's try it. Yeah, I'm not sure about this bishop f4, e5, bishop c1. Because maybe black doesn't play e5 there. Maybe black does like knight e5 or something. I don't know. I mean, it was definitely an idea. I'll have to look at it afterwards. But I didn't quite love it. It also might not be that great for me to allow this like huge closing of the king side, even though I do get the d5 square. Black can maybe play around it, or even just put the knight on b6 and then just get ready to take. I don't know. Hard to say. Very complicated position. I don't want to pretend like I understand anything here, because I really don't. I mean, it's just such a concrete position. It's like some moves work and some don't. And why they work and others don't really just depends on what stands where. That's kind of it. But this move does feel critical, because at least I don't let him get knight e5 in so comfortably. So I'm going to take on f5. If he moves his queen, then I have time to take on f5 anyway, and then like rook takes bishop e4 or pawn takes, then I can use the d5 square. Okay, and bishop takes d5. Of course, I can just take it, and I'll have this tactic. Hey, DeQ'd. Thanks for following. Yeah, no problem. Glad people are enjoying the stream. Well, it's a very weird position. I mean, black is like, I mean, the kings are on opposite sides of the board, but black is technically playing with disconnected rooks. Like, bishop on c8 has a lot of potential, but right now, you know, it's not really in the game. White's position optically feels better, but you never know with these things. Black can get counterplayed really quickly. Okay, queen b4. I think this move made sense. I was strongly considering this one. I wasn't sure whether I wanted to play bishop d2 here or just bishop c1 back. Bishop c1, I have to watch out for f4, which is kind of annoying. Queen h3, knight e5. Yeah. Maybe I should go bishop d2 then, because I think I need this tempo to threaten knight d5. To me, this feels important. So we're not going to think too much. I'm just going to play the intuitive move. Now this is a threat. f4, can I go knight d5 immediately? Possibly, but it looks really unclear. Okay, instead I think I should just keep my queen somewhere safe, like queen h3, queen d3, knight e5. Bishop f4 of course runs into rook takes f4. Kind of feel like maybe queen h4 is the move that I should be playing here. So at knight e5 I can go knight d5 right away. Okay, let's go here. Actually, queen h3 is more forcing because I'm hitting the e6 pawn. What am I talking about? I'm like trying to think about things too intuitively here. Yeah, queen h3 hits e6, and if he goes knight e5, I have knight d5. So he's just busted. So okay, let's go this one. Let's not. Queen g4 would be wrong because then knight e5 is with tempo. But wow, he just doesn't care. This is surprising. Okay, knight d5. He has queen b7, but I can take on f4. Bishop takes g5. Yeah, things are getting really sharp. Oh, this is why I didn't like queen h3, because knight d5 he just takes it. Yeah, this is why I avoided queen h3. I forgot about this one. Oh man. My bad. Well, that's okay, because the position is still very complicated. I just have no idea what the evaluation is. Maybe I'm worse at already, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, that's why I wanted the queen on h4, so I could play knight d5 here. Oh well. Okay, I think I have to play g6. Knight c4. I can still go bishop c1. Yeah, I'm really not sure about what's going on in the position. I kind of feel like black is doing well, but I'm going to keep fighting, of course. Yeah, I really won't have time to respond to all the moves, guys, so I'm sure some moves are good, some moves are not. I don't really know. To me, it just looks like a difficult position. Not sure what he's thinking about. I mean, he has a lot of moves too. I just feel like h6 is an easy move here for black, just to keep the status quo. And then I'll have to figure out what to do again. Maybe I shouldn't have given him the f6 square for the bishop, but yeah, a little bit too late for that. I also have knight e2 as a move. I haven't really been thinking about this one, but maybe knight e2 should be my next move. Then if h6, knight e2, he doesn't really have such a obvious response there. So maybe he's thinking about something else, like knight c4. Okay, knight c4, I take on h7, king h8, bishop c1. Does he have f3? Oh, f3, h6, maybe I open him up. Okay, h6, so knight e2, what's going on here? And then just take on f4? With something, maybe the bishop. Maybe the knight, bishop g5 might happen, knight d3. Could also take on f4. No, I can't take on f4 first, and then so I won't have the attack. So okay, I have to play this move. I just don't really see another good option. Could also just start regrouping with bishop c3, but yeah, f3 is going to be an annoying threat, so I have to watch out for that one. So I don't know what he does here. Queen b6, queen b5, queen b7. Okay, queen b5. Now might be a nice time to go like bishop f1. No, I think I should just take. Okay, if he goes knight c4, bishop c1. Looks like everything's covered. If he goes bishop g5, you know, knight d3. Yeah, getting sharp here. to take the pawn. I would expect bishop g5 here. Then I was thinking about bishop f1 in response. So I could try to play like knight d3 or something. Take c4 under control again. Don't really want to take on e6 at any point because I think this pin is just going to be way too annoying to deal with. Okay, he goes knight c4 right away. Well, I have to play bishop c1, not much of a choice. I think. So now he has e5, but then I can go queen d3. Maybe? Actually, not really. He just takes. Oh man. Yeah, I thought I'm getting his knight, but I'm not. Okay, I do have bishop f1 coming. So I think it's actually not that clear. I could just be losing a piece. Okay. Knight e6. What's happening here? Rook f6. Okay, I'm gonna try the only idea I can really see, which is queen c3. Now he probably takes on f4. Then I go bishop f1. And then if he goes bishop e6 here, my idea was to just move my king and get out of the pin, but bishop f6 is of course a huge problem. So this is not working. Yeah, I think it's just bad for white. I don't think I'm getting enough here. Oh well. Let's see, bishop b2, bishop f6. Takes on c4, takes on c4. Could start with e5. Because I don't really have other moves. So let's just try something. Because his knight is still pinned. Maybe if he takes, I can go king a1. It's bad. It's not good. But yeah, what can I do? I can try. Yeah, I think queen h3 was a bad move. Queen a5 I would be happy to see because I can trade queens and then get another pawn and then maybe even take on a6. Though probably white is still just losing. So at this point my evaluation is that white is lost and that black has probably several good moves. And yeah. Not the right time to think about the past though, because okay, something can still change. I do wonder where I went wrong though. I really should check that out. Okay, queen b4. So takes, he wants to take with the rook. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm in trouble. Okay. Time to start grabbing pawns. Hope for the best. Now, if bishop takes on d6, we'll take here. Okay, so knight takes. Okay, rook e1. I think he probably can cover. Although, yeah, just knight e4. Okay, so let's take here. Now I want to play maybe rook he1. Bishop b2. Should be losing. It's not super easy for black to convert, but should be something. This looks like a good move. Threatening f2 and c3. Okay. Guess I have to go rook de1. Bishop d5. Okay, let's go bishop b2. I think it's a semi-trap, like knight d2 check king e1, bishop takes h1, I take on d2, and then he has two bishops hanging. I'm not clear if it really works or not. You can go like bishop e4. Probably just gonna end up down a rook. But maybe f3. At least it's unclear. You know, I'm just kind of just hoping for the best. Okay, bishop f6. That seems quite reasonable. Okay, let's take. Knight takes. Rook h4. f3. Seems like a good move. He wants to trade some pieces. Okay. Gotta move. Everything's losing, but at least I can try to pose some small issues. Bishop c6. Rook e6. Rook f4. 5. Okay, running out of time, so no time to waste. Now I was worried about rook a8, so I'm going to keep my king on d6. And yeah, just trying to make it a little bit hard for him, but I don't think it will be too hard. Like, Just f3 pawn is too strong. Maybe knight e4 now. Should be good. And this also looks pretty dangerous. Yeah. I think that's it, guys. I think this move is too good. But we're gonna keep trying. Try to make it hard. Maybe he'll play knight e4. That would be amazing. No, he misses it. Unbelievable. Okay, let's go here. Now knight e4, take. Oh, I can't get the pawn. Yeah, I think this is it. Yeah, that's it. Tough game. Okay, I need to figure out where I went wrong there. Because the position was good, but yeah, clearly I just misplayed it. Oh, I misplayed it big time. I was like having a big advantage. Okay, yeah, looks like my position was good, so I should be able to just repeat that line. Okay. All right, we're gonna start our fourth game. And yeah, Murfinski, I'll probably post the match on YouTube later on, so you'll be able to replay all the games. Hey, Michael Yang, good to see you. All right, game 4. So this will be the last game of the night, unless we just keep going. Just keep playing the same opening. I mean, we're gonna be such huge experts by the end. Alright, e6 or time for knight arf? No, e6. Alright, so far he's 2-0 with bishop e7. But my position last game was good, so I don't really care that I lost. I was like, okay, the opening went well, so now I just have to improve. It turns out my position was good all the way up to bishop g2, and then when he played queen b4, I should have played bishop f4 in that position. We were discussing this line with e5, and there knight d5 was just good for white, hitting the bishop on e7 with check. Yeah, Michael, I do play the Taimanov as black, so this is a line I have to see from both points of view sometimes. I mean, it's hard, but yeah, there's always one opening for everyone where, you know, whatever you play as black, you know, people can play that against you, and so you have to figure it out. Oh yeah, I checked the move order, so instead of g5 knight d7, I should take first, and now g5 knight d7 basically transposes. And yeah, I think I'm happy with this position, so I'm gonna go for this again. Queen g3, then rook b8 h4. Ivanchuk, he didn't play this line. We played a Taimanov, but he played like with bishop e3, queen d2, and then castling queenside. So kind of more of a classical way. Okay, rook b8, h4. And queen b7, b3 is totally fine for white, so... I mean, I guess he didn't really check the game in between games, so I guess he thinks this is okay for black, but it's not. It is not okay for black, and I'm ready. Yeah, Darius Swerch, Swerts, I don't know how to say his name. He did play the bishop e3, queen f3 line against me, and he played really well. Although maybe I could have been okay out of the opening. Yeah, so this h5 f5 bishop g2 business, this is good for white, so I'm just gonna just gonna repeat it. So let's hopefully I play better this time. Yeah, Dr. Charles Forbin, the Soviet Chess Primer. I think this is one of the best books for beginning players or players who are like have already learned the rules in chess and they want to know a little bit about strategy and stuff. This is a great book. It covers a lot of topics. It's written very well. It's like an old Russian book, and a lot of strong Russian players have used it to learn, including Kasparov, Karpov. Dvoretsky also speaks very highly of it. So, yeah, it's a great book for teaching the fundamentals of strategy and basic tactics, how to calculate, how to evaluate endgames, and things like that. Okay, queen b4, he's repeating. He's saying, you know what, that game went good for me. I'm just going to repeat. All right, here we go. Time for the improvement. So the idea here is bishop f4. I mean, this is just what Stockfish told me in 2 seconds in between the game while I was checking it. And now, now after e5, I'm going to play knight d5. If he takes on f4, I take on e7 with check. And then king f7, I'm going to recapture. And that's all I saw. So I'm going to be down a piece there if he takes on e7, but I assume white has a ton of compensation there after queen takes d6 and then something. We'll figure it out from there. I don't know, but okay, plus I think it said it was like +2, +3 or something, so we'll figure it out. If he doesn't go e5, then he's in trouble, because what else can he do? I mean, I guess he can go knight e5. But knight e5, I just take on f5. Rook takes f5. Can also take twice on e5. Not really sure. So if knight e5 takes, bishop takes g5. Maybe I can go e takes f5 there. Oh, but bishop f6. Hey, Moroccan Lion. Doing well. Well, so far it's 2-1. Not in my favor, in Dr. Chess's favor. So I'm down in the match, but learning a lot. Gotten some good experience in these positions. First game was pretty clean, then second game pretty much blundered in the opening and was just lost immediately. And in the third game I was doing well, but misplayed it. Fourth game is following the third game up until this moment, and I've just improved with bishop f4, which is a much better move than bishop d2. But yeah, Sangan forever. This is kind of the point of playing these training games is, yeah, when you're prepping the line, then it looks like, oh yeah, everything makes 100%. Then like someone plays it over the board against you, and it's like, okay, I know this is supposed to be +1, but how exactly am I getting there? And so it's not easy. So that's why you have to kind of get that out before you play the game in a tournament and stumble into a position that you don't really understand. So like game 3 was like my first time seeing this position. Now I feel like I understand it a little bit better, and okay, if I get in a tournament game, then I'll feel much more comfortable. So that's kind of the point. Okay, c4. Interesting move. He's defending d6 this way. Okay, I didn't check this line, so now it's time to think again. I mean, I could just take on d6 anyway. Take, queen takes c3, queen e6, king h8. That doesn't look good. I can take with the rook, but then f4 is kind of annoying. Okay, my other idea would be to just take on f5 here. ef5 is not good because of knight d5. So he would have to play rook takes f5. Bishop h3, rook takes f4. Some complicated lines here. Okay, so if I take here, rook takes, bishop h3, takes on f4, check, king h8, queen takes f4, takes on c3, queen f7, hitting the bishop and threatening queen g8 mate. His only move would be bishop b7. Then I take here. I'm up in exchange, but it's just such a messy position. I don't know. Maybe he has bishop takes e4 at the end and some counterplay. So it's really hard. Maybe just bishop e4. Okay, I could play rook d4. But rook d4 doesn't really come with a threat because the c4 pawn's not hanging. Maybe I should just take on d6 and then take with the rook. Oh, again, f4 is annoying. Queen h3. And I don't really like it. I could insert h6, g6 and then go for all this, which is kind of interesting. Could also just go like rook h e1. I don't really know about that. Seems kind of slow. Good news is he's not really threatening a whole lot. I could take on f5 and then take on d6, actually. Maybe that's cleaner. Take on f5, rook f5, bishop takes d6. Bishop d6, queen takes d6. If he takes on c3, I take on e6 with check, and he's going to be losing his rook. So ef5, rook f5, bishop takes d6. His queen's hanging. He doesn't have a huge choice there. I think he has to take. Then I take with the queen. So take, 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 take. If he trades queens, takes on f2. I have to feel like I have a great endgame there. I don't know how good, but it has to be good. I mean, white's pieces are just much more active. So I have like bishop h3 coming. Yeah, okay. The other line seems pretty good. So rook takes f5, bishop takes d6, takes, queen takes d6. Queen c3, I take on e6 with check, and then I'm going to win his rook. So he might have to go for that endgame. But the endgame looks nice for white. I think his pieces are going to have problems there. His king might have issues. I don't know how big of an advantage it is, but I feel like it should be better for white there. We'll see. I also feel like white maybe can get more somehow, but yeah, I just don't really see such a clear way. And also thinking about throwing in g6 or h6 at some point, but just thinking about in the last game how this didn't really work out for me, so I don't really know if it's worth doing in this game. It's not really the best way to think about things. I think a lot of players are like, something happens one time, like they traded a knight for a bishop and it didn't work out, and then you just, oh, I guess trading knight for bishop is never good. So. Yeah, Moroccan line. I'm not sure if it's his main opening or it was just an opening he wanted to play, but it was his choice, basically. I didn't specifically ask to play against the Taimanov. I never asked for this. He's thinking here. I wonder what he's considering, because ef5, knight d5 is pretty obviously bad. e5, knight d5 is still huge issues for black. I mean, among other things, e5 I can also probably just pull my bishop back at that point. So rook takes f5 feels like the only move, and then I don't know if I should play g6 or just take on d6 right away. I really like the idea of playing g6 first, but maybe it's not worth it. Yeah, I know Tipsy Ton that g6 in the last game didn't work, but that's what I'm saying. Like, this game, it's a different position, so you know, I'm going to be taking on d6 anyway and trading off the dark square the dark square bishop. So it's a different situation, but no, I get the feeling it's just like, oh man, like last game g6 didn't work out, so maybe I should avoid it, but in this position it also looks good. So what to do? I mean, h6 also looks very reasonable. I mean, the point is just to, because I feel like we're going to get into this endgame after bishop takes d6 takes, queen takes d6 takes, rook takes. And since we're going to get into the endgame, then including h6, g6 is actually very useful for white because it gives black all of these weak back rank issues, especially h6, because then the h7 pawn is weak in every single endgame. So I feel like I'm just going to play h6. I know it didn't work out last time, but as long as he doesn't have any other moves like other than g6, then I think it's still on white's favor there. Okay, c takes b3. Wow. So he throws this one in. Yeah, I'm not super keen on allowing him to take on c2, so I think I'm just going to have to recapture here. Okay, now he takes on f5. Interesting. So he decides to throw this one in. Okay. Yeah, so now he's basically playing against this bishop h3 line because he wants to be able, when he takes on c3, to take here with check and not having to have included this move. So this was a smart inclusion on his end. I think that's helping him. But I think I'm just going to take on d6 here. Takes, queen takes. Yeah, because now my bishop is just hanging, so I don't have time for g6 or h6. It's just bad. Okay, so bishop d6 takes, queen takes. If he takes here, take on e6 with check. King h8. Take on f5. Takes, takes, takes. King moves. I don't think he's going to be getting a perpetual check there. I don't think his pieces are active enough, and I should be able to defend. Knight d5, he just takes. Okay. Rook h4 is also a move, which could be strong. Queen a3, bishop c1. And then eventually just playing for bishop h3. Rook h4. This is a move Ivanchuk played against me in a different situation, but I feel like it kind of applies here as well. It just looks really nice, just like targeting his queen, defending the bishop, then I get bishop h3 behind that. Can he do anything? Queen a3, I just go bishop c1. I don't let him get anywhere there. Then he has to go back. I go bishop h3. I feel like he has issues. Okay, let's go for this one. Hopefully not blundering anything. I'm not really sure. Okay, Am the Touche asked, Am the Toucher, hello, I'm only interested in talking about realistic chess subjects. For instance, if your ELO were 1500, but you could read the mind of your opponent, would you be able to become one of the top 10 chess players in the world, or would it be impossible? Yeah, I think that would be enough for any player, given that you continue to work to be top 10 player in the world. But you would have to still work on your chess. Like, you would have to try to be better. If you stayed at 1500, then it wouldn't be worth that much, because you wouldn't be able to exploit what you know your opponent is thinking. But for example, like if I knew what my opponent was thinking, and it would really help me in terms of my calculation, like, okay, if I play this move, what move does he want to do? And then I can only focus on the move he actually wants to make, because I can kind of hear his thought process. But yeah. Also, like, you know, let's say you're playing a stronger player and you're like 2000 and they're 2500, and you have like some sharp position, and then all of a sudden they think, oh my god, he has bishop b4. Oh no, I'm so boned after bishop b4. Then you might start looking at bishop b4 a little bit, you know, closely. It's like a big help. But obviously, if you know how to read minds, you're probably smart enough not to tell anyone that you can do so that the government doesn't catch you and start performing experiments, Hulk style. So obviously the right strategy would be not to tell anyone, no matter what. And yeah, that's kind of the other aspect. Like, be careful what you wish for, because during the game we think about all kinds of stuff at the board. And yeah, sometimes you end up hating your opponent just because they're sitting across from you and you're not allowed to talk, and they're just looking at you with their eyes and their stupid face. And yeah, they might think some bad things about you that you wouldn't want to hear otherwise. Yeah, I think that would well, rook h4, for better or worse, it clearly sent my opponent into a thing, because yeah, this move is hard to anticipate, but I feel like it's very annoying. Bishop takes d6 here. I mean, I don't think there was really a bad move. I think white gets a better endgame there, but somehow I just felt like maybe white can play for a bigger advantage. And this move, rook h4, is kind of ambitious in that sense, because if the queen moves away to like queen b6 or something, I mean, I can still take on d6 if I want, but my bigger idea is just to throw in bishop e4. Sorry, put the arrow. Bishop h3. I mean, bishop e4 is also possible, but bishop h3. Goryachkin and Keimer are staring at the opponents with all the hate in the world. Yeah, I think they both have like resting "I hate you" face, which is interesting. It's always a good game to play when you're at a tournament. It's not your move, like you have nothing to do. Just look around the room and call out everyone's resting face. Resting dumbfounded face, resting content face. You know, there's all kinds of faces out there. I feel like I have resting pensive face. I'm just like, when I'm in in like just like a very basic state, I'm just like, no, Dr. Charles Forbin, not working on any books right now, but I am working on a Chessable course and some other courses as well, but no physical books. Okay, big lead on the clock, so that's good for this game. I feel like, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of surprised he didn't check the line in between games, because then he would have seen that the line is just not good for black. Like the way we played game 3, I mean, he won the game, but objectively the position after like 15, 16 moves was quite good for white. So I think it was a mistake for black to repeat it. I don't think he fell asleep. I think he just has a difficult position and like doesn't know what to do, like because because bishop h3 is coming. Bishop takes d6 is still in the air. For Chessable, I'm currently working on a book of e4 model games. So basically games that start with 1 e4 that I believe every 1 e4 player should know. I'm actually working on this course with a buddy of mine. So the plan is to do something like maybe around 40 games or so in the first course, and just highlighting some classic like e4 ideas, playing against e4, e5, playing against the Sicilian, playing against the French, and just displaying model play. Okay, knight c5. Wow, what a move. Okay, seemingly just walking into a discovered attack with bishop takes d6. I guess he wants to recapture. Bishop d6, queen d6. Queen takes h4. I can take on b8 at the end. Be hard to imagine that this is actually working for black. I really don't think it is. But okay, that's his idea. Takes, bishop takes. I can also just recapture with the rook on d6. Then he'll have to move his queen. If he goes to a3, I have rook b8 check, and I can take on b8. So I think bishop d6 should just be winning here, but I should spend like a couple minutes here just to make sure, because it's so easy to miss a resource. Take, rook takes. He actually has no way of staying in contact with the rook. So I take. I think this is a good lesson for everyone about calculation. Like, I quickly determined that this line with queen takes h4, queen takes b8, like, it's probably good for white, but it does feel a little bit unclear. And so I immediately just wanted to look for other options along the way. And then I think, yeah, takes, rook takes d6 is actually a lot more reasonable. I'm still hitting the queen with my rook, and then if he goes queen a5 or queen a3, he has queen a5. Okay, so he's covering rook d8 check. So that's not so simple anymore. Okay, got it. So now maybe I should go back to the other line and see if I can find something convincing there. I mean, I am hitting his bishop at the end. He can go rook f8. It's not so easy. Very interesting move, knight c5, actually. I feel like it doesn't make things easy for white one bit. Still feels like it should be winning for white. I just feel like white has such a big advantage, but it does look quite complicated, so okay, I really have to be precise here. Also go back, bishop e3, bishop c1, and these moves look particularly good. Yeah, I just feel like bishop h3 or something is critical, but okay, black is starting to take on b3, so we have to be very careful about that. Yeah, looks like we're gonna have to take on d6 here. Now I could take with the queen, takes, queen takes, because I feel like this forces him to go really passive with the rook, which to me feels like something that's good. Then I can even drop back queen e5. Ooh, I love that centralization. Okay, I think I am going to take with the queen here. So he probably has to take on h4. I just have too many threats. I take here. And yeah, rook f8. And here, yeah, I wanted queen e5, which I really like, because it hits the knight, centralizes the queen. Knight d7, I can take on e6. This move feels like it kind of keeps... I also have h6 ideas, so if he takes on f2, maybe I just go h6. Yeah, not a lot of time to waste anymore. Gotta continue playing actively. Okay, queen f2. So now h6 looks good, because takes. If he takes on g2, I can just take the knight, and then I'm even threatening rook g1 at the end there. So I think his king is going to be wide open. If takes, I also have rook f1 as an option. Queen takes g2, take on f8, king takes, take on c5 with check, take the bishop, and I'm up a piece. But takes, I think I can recapture. It should just be winning. I feel like black's king is way too weak here. But I don't really want to give him any extra options, like take, for example, maybe queen f5. He's kind of holding. I think I have to just grab my chance while I have it. Queen f1, rook f1, king b2. This is just nothing for black. The pieces are too scattered, so I think rook f1 is good here. Let's see. Has to take, and then I just take and take with check. Okay, he gets a couple pawns for the piece, but I have to imagine that that's going to be totally fine. Wait, hold on. Takes, I'm threatening mate, so... This is just good for white. I think just either way it's probably good. Okay, I'm just going to recapture. I think rook f1 was winning there. Maybe, I mean, might get to some messy position where he has like a bunch of pawns for the knight, but... Yeah, this one I just forgot. Queen f5 is not an option. Rook f5 also not an option. His only move is like queen takes g2 here. Because queen f6 I'm taking the knight. Rook f6 I'll have rook d8. And then after queen f1, queen takes c5. He just doesn't have any good moves there, I'm pretty sure. Because rook g1 is a huge threat. Rook f1 I can take the bishop. King can't move because of the rook. So I just don't see any reasonable moves here. I think black is just lost. I guess I'm not really threatening rook g1 yet because he has rook f1. But I can play king b2 first. So okay, he can go bishop b7 here. I'll go king b2, and I don't think he's surviving. King is just too weak. Yeah, as soon as he goes bishop b7, I also have like rook d7 ideas as well. So okay, I think I'm going to get this one. The fuchsia, I haven't heard of this game, Alapin Chigorin, e4, e5, knight e2. I'm not sure if I'll include it. I'll check it out though. Because I want to stick to lines that are still very relevant today. So things like the Italian game, Rui Lopez, stuff like that. I haven't seen the Giddens chess lessons book. Might be similar, but the idea is just to do like 40 model games after 1 e4. Okay, he goes for e5. So rook g1, he wants rook f1 check, so seems like king b2 should just be the winner here. Hey, bring me turkey bacon. E4, E6, D4, D5, Knight C3. So one of the very main lines. I mean, I think it's playable. That's for sure. You have bishop b4 there, you have knight f6 for black. I would suggest knight f6, e5, knight fd7. That's a pretty significant line in the French. Okay, so rook g1 check. He wants to go bishop g4. Then I think white should have a number of winning moves. Queen takes e5 looks pretty good. Can also take on e5 right away. Okay, let's give this check. Maybe he wants to go king h8 actually. Queen takes e5, queen f6. Which is interesting. So let's try to find a clean win if we can. Oh, queen e5, queen f6, rook f1. Oh, beautiful. Straight out of the woodpecker method. Rook f1, bishop f5, I take it. Just game over, right? If it doesn't work out, okay, I can try queen e3, but yeah, I think just rook f1. I was thinking about rook g8 check, but king takes. But rook f1 is a nice one. No, John Hartman, nothing in paper. No books for me. It's too hard. It just takes too much time. Just a Chessable book. All you need to do is the PGN. Annotate some fantastic e4 games. And that's it. Alright, so this game went better. I'm happy we repeated the line. So yeah, game 3 basically had the same opening until this point. I mean, we repeated everything, and then I checked quickly with the engine between games and discovered that bishop f4 with idea e5, knight d5 is just really strong for white. And I guess he realized this over the board and tried to play c4, and then I think I played this part well. Because I realized I just have like a huge advantage here, and especially because black's king side is always weak. I have 2 pawns in front of my king that are solid, and we got some complications, but with these exchanges, it's like black's king, especially the bishop on c8, actually never got out into the game, so this was just a really difficult position for black. I liked queen e5 here, very nice centralizing move, intending to play h6 soon, and hitting the knight, and then, yeah, I think rook f1 here was winning, but I think this was also very much good enough, because this position with the pawn on h6, king on g8 is just impossible for black to play. Like, white's queen and rook are way too strong, and it's not surprising that I had these tactics with queen e5 and rook f1. So, alright, well that was it. It looks like 2-2 for the match. Not that the score really matters. Again, I could have lost all 4 games. The point was to just get some experience with the opening and avoid some opening trap. Like in game 2, I totally fell into something that if I played it in a classical game, I mean, that would just be game over. So I'm happy to gotten that blunder out of the way. And yeah, some interesting games today. Who is here for all 4 games? I know a lot of people joined a bit late. I'm just curious who's been here from the start. Streamlabs always sends me stats after each stream, and one of the stats is the average watch time per viewer, and my average watch time is great. I mean, I don't get that many viewers. You know, when I stream to Lichess, I get usually like 40 on average, maybe a little bit more if it's popular, but my average watch time is always like an hour. Or yesterday it was like an hour and 20 minutes. Which I take great pride in. It means like the people that are watching, they're just like, they're really they're into it. They're enjoying it. I mean, when I watch other streams, I'm usually watching for like 4 minutes maximum, and then I leave. And I imagine a lot of people are like that as well. But of course, those streams get so many more viewers. But I feel like this is the stream where, if you're like a strong player and you're into the concept, then it can be really enjoyable. Okay. well, that's gonna wrap it up for tonight. I don't have any plans. Hey, Graham3816, thanks for subbing. 3 months in a row. I mean, it's only been available for 3 months, so one of the OGs, one of the OG fans. I don't know if I'll be streaming sometime this weekend. It's possible, but right now I don't have any plans. But if there's something to do, maybe I'll fire up a stream Saturday or Sunday night. Other than that, guys, I will be traveling for my next tournament starting on Wednesday. So I'm playing this round robin in Minnesota that starts on Thursday of next week, and then after that, that will be a GM Norm tournament. So I'll be putting my best foot forward there, hopefully. Then after that, I'll be playing the World Open. It's another 9-round tournament, which is always super strong. I've never played the World Open before, so I'll be very excited to play that for my first time. And yeah, if you guys haven't followed me on YouTube, please do so. Most of the games that I play in tournaments, I end up analyzing and putting them up on the channel. Sometimes I might stream and do the game analysis, but one way or another, it's all about the YouTube channel and everything ends up there. So please make sure to follow me there. And yeah, if you want to see me analyze some of my previous games, I would suggest checking out my YouTube channel if you haven't already. For past tournaments, I did a post-mortem analysis of all my games with some special guests. Me and Eric Rosen were working together last month. I've also done some videos with Grandmaster Eugene Perelstein and some